In a career that spanned over 40 years in television and movies, Keanu Reeves is a well-known name courtesy of his roles as Neo in the Matrix series and John Wick in the John Wick series. Keanu Reeves has left no stone unturned in playing one versatile role after the other. Taking a small page out of that book, today we focus on 10 iconic and powerful characters that Keanu Reeves has portrayed on screen. But before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Character breakdowns. Neo, the Matrix series. Starting with one of Keanu Reeves' most popular characters, Thomas A. Anderson, or rather Neo, had evolved quite a bit personality-wise as well as power-wise throughout the Matrix series. Believing himself to be just a hacker, Neo's world turned upside down after he was contacted by the future love of his life, Trinity. Neo soon learned the truth about his reality, that he was actually living a lie and his mind was enslaved by intelligent machines who had been keeping him and the rest of humanity in a simulated reality called the Matrix. Believed to be the one who had been prophesized to free mankind, Neo himself had a hard time believing this. Though soon overcoming this doubt once Neo was revived from near death, he was given a vast amount of powers in his role as the One. Being born with the Matrix's source code, known as the Prime Program, gave Neo the ability to freely manipulate the simulated reality of the Matrix. This power is primarily manifested in the form of telekinesis. He also gained the ability to fly at astonishing speeds and also being able to jump great distances. This high-speed flying also left behind a sonic boom in his wake that was capable of overturning multiple rows of vehicles, leading to massive explosions. Neo had used this extreme speed to stop several bullets mid-flight. Aside from this, he also gained superhuman strength and agility, becoming near invulnerable to most attacks, which allowed him to hold his own in a long fight. Neo's status as the One allowed for his powers to exist even outside the Matrix. John Wick series. Is a list of Keanu Reeves' powerful characters complete without the mention of the killer human that is John Wick? With 4 movies in and more to come, John Wick had made quite a name for himself for his successful revenge sprees. A young John was born as Jordani Jovanovic, an orphan at the Ruska Roma crime organization. Brought to the USA, he was trained in martial arts and soon adopted the infamous name of Jonathan John Wick, having served in the Marine Corps thereafter and later becoming a professional hitman by joining the Continental, a hotel catering exclusively to criminals. John Wick soon gained the reputation of being one of the most highly respected as well as feared individuals in the criminal underworld. John also used his skills to support Russian mobster Viggo Tarasov to reach his way to the top. Later, John even eliminated all of Viggo's rivals when he wanted to leave the criminal life behind him, having fallen in love with his future wife Helen. John's training in martial arts, along with his Marine Corps training, made him a deadly killer that could take on his enemies with just his bare hands. He's also a great marksman, with a high number of 342 confirmed kills and an additional 86 unconfirmed kills. This also meant that John was quite adept with various ranged weapons, with his weapon of choice being a Heckler & Koch P30L pistol that he used during his revenge spree. John's combating skills allowed him to make a weapon out of any ordinary object, which was witnessed by Viggo when John killed 3 men using only a pencil. John also possessed the peak capabilities of his body, making him highly durable along with being strong, such as when, even after being hit by a car, John came out of it with minor wounds, almost unscathed. Other than this, John was also quite adept with driving different types of vehicles, and was an excellent horse rider too. All these skills combined can probably explain why John Wick did not fail even once in his revenge. Johnny Mnemonic. One of Keanu Reeves' lesser-known roles from 1995, Johnny Mnemonic belonged to the then super-modern future of 2021. As the name may have given it away already, Johnny Mnemonic was a cybernetic human. How exactly was he cybernetic? It was a data storage device implanted in his brain that allowed him to store confidential information that was too sensitive to be passed on through this futuristic world's version of the internet, not so cleverly called the net. The film in particular focused on his mission to deliver deliver information to a group of scientists based in Beijing. The job, even though lucrative, came with its hiccups of exceeding his memory capacity, putting Johnny's childhood memories at risk, along with being a ticking bomb inside his head. If the data wasn't extracted in a few days, then Johnny suffered the risk of fatal brain damage. Running against time, Johnny faced opposition from the Yakuza, who were after the information in Johnny's head. Soon it was revealed that the information that Johnny possessed was actually the cure for the degenerative effect called nerve attenuation syndrome, or NAS, caused by the net. Being a mnemonic courier service, Johnny not only had to safely deliver information, but also fight several enemies who would be after that information. This made Johnny quite adept at combat to keep the information safe, though the data could only be accessed with the help of a password known only to the recipient of the delivery. Johnny Mnemonic was an example of how human life could be commodified in the future by the rich for their own gains, putting the lives of poorer beings at risk to complete a simple task, but not realizing the true worth of the knowledge they delivered. Kevin Lomax, the Devil's Advocate. Back in 1997, Keanu Reeves played another lesser-known character, Kevin Lomax, the son of Satan himself. Though this may give you the thought that he possessed supernatural powers, he was more powerful with his words, charm, and ambition to win court cases by any means necessary. This led to Kevin being the defense lawyer of criminals charged with child molestation and even murder. But lies, deception, and his masterful control of the courtroom allowed Kevin to get his clients a get-out-of-jail card. However, it wasn't long before Kevin's actions started showing its results. After helping schoolteacher Lloyd Geddes go free from being charged as a child molester, Kevin was offered a high-profile job in New York. Despite his mother's urging, Kevin ended up taking the job and moved to the city with his wife, Mary Ann. Initially believing himself to be a good employee for his boss, John Milton, Kevin's life turned upside down once his work became his whole life. Meanwhile, his wife, Mary Ann, was haunted by demonic visions, declared infertile, and ended up being raped by John. Though even this couldn't persuade Kevin to quit his job, but rather caused him to institutionalize his wife for being insane. Meanwhile, anyone who tried to outdo John dropped dead like flies once Kevin informed John about it. The events soon came to a head when Kevin's mother revealed that John was none other than his father, though another surprise awaited Kevin when he confronted John about being his father and for raping Mary Ann. Going unscathed by a bullet shot by Kevin, John revealed that he was Satan himself, who wanted Kevin to conceive the Antichrist with his colleague, or rather half-sister, Christabella. Reaching his final straw, Kevin opted to end his own life by shooting the gun to his own head. But in the end, thankfully for Kevin, the whole chain of events turned out to be his power of being able to see the future, giving Kevin a second chance to get things right and not be the devil's advocate like he was meant to be. John Constantine. Is it even a Keanu Reeves character at this point if his character isn't named John? Donning the mantle of the DC antihero John Constantine, Keanu played John Constantine in the 2005 film adaptation. Giving his own twist to it, Keanu Reeves' portrayal of John Constantine lacked a lot of the character's well-known qualities, such as his British accent, trench coat, and his iconic blonde hair. But he more than made up for this by giving a terrific portrayal of Constantine, who had been burdened by his powers, but definitely didn't shy away from using them. John Constantine, an occult expert, was unknowingly roped into a case of a demon trying to enter Earth while performing an exorcism on a young girl. Wanting an extension on his life to be able to carry out his responsibilities of fighting demons, John contacted the half-angel Gabriel. His life was already cut short because of terminal lung cancer, caused by the lifelong dependency on cigarettes that helped John cope with the visions of angels and demons roaming the earth in human disguises. Gabriel, though, informed John that good deeds performed for selfish reasons would not help him reach heaven. Though unbeknownst to Gabriel, John knew that he was already damned to hell because of his attempted suicide as a teenager, an action he ended up committing to put an end to the pain that his powers caused. Soon, John was found by LAPD detective Angela, who needed his help in investigating the death of her twin sister, Isabel, who she believed was forced to commit suicide through demonic possession. Though initially apprehensive, John had to interfere once Angela herself was attacked by demons. With the help of his 3 associates, John and Angela found out that Lucifer's son, Mammon, had been the main progenitor of the plan of unleashing hell on Earth. With Isabel gone, Mammon focused on capturing Angela to use her psychic powers to put his plans in motion. Though, while trying to stop it, John found the real perpetrator behind the plan to be Gabriel, who wanted the humans that could survive the unleashing of hell to experience the true love of God. Left with no way of stopping Gabriel, John, in the end, decided to kill himself to be able to contact Lucifer and let him know about Gabriel's plans, knowing well enough that Lucifer himself would appear to collect John's soul. When given one wish to be granted by Lucifer for John's help in stopping Gabriel, John chose for Isabel's damned soul to be taken to heaven, an action that deemed John fit for heaven, making Lucifer angry at not being able to collect John's soul himself. As a result, Lucifer brought John back to life and cured him of his cancer, announcing that with time, John would prove himself fit for hell rather than heaven. John Constantine's power of seeing the true self of angels and demons was not his only special ability. As with age, John became an expert in the occult, an expertise that allowed him to perform rituals and spells that can be used to perform exorcism and astral projection. John's lighter was capable of unleashing hellfire on Earth, while his 2 arms possessing the Red King's tattoo, when put together, could command powerful entities to reveal themselves, a feat that he used to call Gabriel. Despite being quite different from his popular comic book appearance, Keanu Reeves definitely brought forth the true idea of what made John Constantine. Jack Traven, Speed. With 2 supernatural characters in, we return to Keanu Reeves' most down-to-earth character on the list, Officer Jack Traven. Jack was an LAPD officer who didn't possess any highly trained martial arts skills, cybernetic enhancements, or even supernatural abilities. But what he did possess was the ability to get through high-stakes, life-threatening situations, a skill that came in handy when he was put on a race against time, not once, but thrice against a bomber named Howard Payne. He initially faced him during a bomb threat at an office building elevator shaft, where he held 13 people hostage in exchange for $3 million. Realizing the bomb was professionally made, Jack, with his partner Harry, initially decided to wait for assistance. But Jack's quick thinking allowed the 2 cops to use a small construction crane to get the hostages out without letting the bomb go off. Howard, who had been nearby hearing Jack's plan, decided to make the bomb go off 3 minutes early. But unfortunately for him, all the hostages were already saved. Jack and his partner Harry soon received medals for their bravery, but they were not yet done coming across Howard. On the very next day on his way to work, Jack was contacted by Howard Payne through a payphone, who revealed that he had rigged a city bus with a bomb that would go off if the bus went any slower than 50 miles per hour. Soon getting on board the bus through a dangerous jump, Jack tried his best to help the bus reach a safer route with the help of another passenger, Annie, who drove the bus. Though it may have seemed like a losing game initially, once Jack realized that Howard had been keeping an eye on the passengers through a camera, he used his brains to create a loop of the footage. This allowed Jack to successfully help the passengers escape before the bus exploded at an empty cargo plane. In the final showdown between Howard and Jack, Howard kidnapped Annie and attached an explosive vest to her, taking her into a subway tunnel. But Jack, without worrying about his own life, went headfirst into fighting Howard, leading to Howard's death while saving Annie initially by deactivating her vest and then by derailing an oncoming train. Johnny Utah, Point Break. Before there was Johnny Mnemonic in 1995, there was Johnny Utah in 1991's Point Break. Though, unlike Mnemonic, Johnny Utah was not some cybernetic human, but just a really skilled rookie FBI agent. Johnny was given the task of assisting an experienced agent and also a Vietnam War veteran, Angelo Pappas, on an investigation into a group of robbers who had been targeting cash drawers of banks instead of vaults. Wearing masks of ex-US presidents Ronald Reagan, Richard Nixon, Lyndon B. Johnson, and Jimmy Carter. Believing the robbers to be surfers, Johnny went undercover into the surfer community by pursuing orphaned surfer Tyler Endicott. Tyler saved Johnny after he drowned in his first attempt to surf, and was then requested to give him surfing lessons. Through Tyler's company, Johnny met with the charming leader of a surfing gang named Bodie. Initially wary of Johnny, Bodie's gang soon accepted him as their own once Bodie recognized Johnny as the former football star who stopped stopped playing after a knee injury. Based on his observations of the gang's close-knit friendship and noticing one of the members of the gang mooning people similar to that of a member of the President Robber Gang, Johnny suspected his new friends of being the bank robbers. Johnny's undercover identity soon began to unravel after a chase with Bodhi in the president's mask. Bodhi soon confronted Johnny about it during skydiving, blackmailing Johnny to help him in one last summer robbery in exchange for Tyler, who had been taken hostage by Bodhi's gang. In a confrontation in air following the robbery, Johnny confronted Bodhi but failed to catch him in the end due to his knees giving out. This led Johnny to track Bodhi for 9 months at Bells Beach in Victoria, Australia. During an altercation, Johnny managed to arrest Bodhi but ended up letting him go after he requested to let him experience a once-in-a-50-year storm wave that led Bodhi to his death. Donaka Mark, Man of Tai Chi. After following some of the well-known heroic roles that Keanu Reeves had played, we now go into an iconic villain that the actor had portrayed. In 2013's Man of Tai Chi, the actor played Donaka Mark, a martial artist and CEO of Security System Alliance that held illegal underground fighting tournaments in Hong Kong, offering the chance to witness the change of pure-hearted martial artists turn into ruthless killers to his wealthy clientele. Mark had been in search of a new contestant who could turn into a cold-blooded murderer, ultimately setting his sights on a martial artist named Tiger Chen Linhu. Mark orchestrated Tiger's fight with an opponent in his building to witness Tiger's skills for himself. Initially hiring Tiger to fight for profit, Mark soon manipulated him to completely submit to him by making government officials send notice to Tiger's Tai Chi temple, declaring it to be a safety hazard, forcing Tiger to apply for a historic protection status, which was needed for the temple to be repaired, and Tiger having to bow down to Mark for more money. As Tiger continued fighting for Mark, he soon gave up his morals, much to the shock of his master as well as the public, severely injuring his opponent. Mark maintained a close eye on Tiger by setting up cameras around his residence and even having him followed. The more Tiger fought under Mark, the more Mark persuaded Tiger to succumb to his darker side. When Tiger refused to kill his opponents, as per Mark's orders, he reminded Tiger that he had no say in his own actions. But soon Mark realized that Tiger had been in contact with the Hong Kong police, who had been after Mark for some time. Derailing Tiger's plans by throwing out his phone, Mark soon revealed to Tiger how he manipulated him into becoming a ruthless killer. This made Tiger challenge Mark for a fight in the ring, but because of the incoming police, Mark made a run, telling Tiger that he owed Mark for not killing anybody. Mark soon reappeared in Tiger's temple, challenging him to a fight and trying to manipulate Tiger into giving in to his killing urges. Mark took the fight to a low point once he took out a knife to stab Tiger, despite having the upper hand, forcing Tiger to use a move he had learned from his master on Mark. Mark, fatally wounded and nearing his death, enjoyed his final moments cherishing his success in turning Tiger into a murderer. Kai, 47 Ronin. In 2013's 47 Ronin, Keanu Reeves played Kai, a child with half Japanese and half English ancestry. Found in the woods, a young Kai was adopted by the generous ruler of the Akko domain, Lord Naganori Asano. As he grew up in the castle, Kai was soon forced to fight with a sword when Lord Asano's life got in danger during a hunting trip when the lord was attacked by a Kirin sent on behalf of Lord Yoshinaka Kira, the shogun's master of ceremonies who wanted to rule the Akko domain. Following the battle, Kai noticed Lord Kai's helper, the shape-shifting Kitsune, and Mizuki, who had later visited Akko as a concubine. Kai tried to warn Lord Asano's principal counselor, Oishi, about Mizuki being a sign of danger, but was shrugged off. Soon, Lord Kira's plan got successful as Mizuki used magic to make Lord Asano believe that Kira was raping his daughter, Mika. This led Lord Asano to unknowingly attack an unarmed Lord Kira, being sentenced to death for his mistake. The shogun ended up making Lord Kira the ruler of Akko and arranged his hand in marriage to Mika, who had to marry him after a year of mourning her father. Kai was sold as a slave, while Oishi and his men were branded as Ronin, which meant a samurai without a master. However, a year later, Oishi realized that Lord Kira had used magic to gain power and rescued Kai, along with gathering the other Ronin to avenge Lord Asano's death. Kai took the Ronins to the mystical Tengu forest to obtain blades for their sword, where Kai fought with his old master and received the blades upon being proven worthy. On their initial attack against Lord Kira, the majority of the Ronin died, with Kai and Oishi being two of the few survivors. The remaining few then decided to infiltrate the castle as wedding performers, where Kai, alongside Mika, fought the Kitsune Mizuki in her dragon form, finally defeated once Kai used the mystical powers of his Tengu blade, while Oishi beheaded Lord Kira. Having restored their honor but still breaking the code of not avenging Lord Asano's death, Kai, Oishi, and the rest of the Ronin were beheaded and buried alongside Lord Asano. Klaatu, The Day the Earth Stood Still. In the 2008 remake of The Day the Earth Stood Still, Keanu Reeves portrayed the extraterrestrial being Klaatu. Klaatu appeared on Earth in 2008, with scientists initially believing his arrival to be the end of all life on Earth. Upon his arrival on Earth, particularly in Manhattan, Klaatu's first action was to emit a high-pitched noise that disabled everything in the vicinity temporarily. Taken to the lab by the scientists, Klaatu's bioengineered spacesuit was put under observation and was found to be made of a material akin to a placenta. Initially shot by a bullet, Klaatu soon aged up in front of the scientists' eyes to give a more humanoid appearance with a stoic personality, courtesy of the human DNA he had collected in 1928 from a mountaineer. Wasting no time, Klaatu revealed the reason for his arrival being that of saving Earth from environmental damage. Getting no help, Klaatu soon escaped initially to spend time with scientist Helen Bonson and her 8-year-old son Jacob, and later meeting up with Mr. Wu, another alien from Klaatu's race who had spent numerous years on Earth. Mr. Wu's description of the human species being destructive, stubborn, and opposed to any form of change matched with Klaatu's experience on Earth, leading him to the decision of collecting animal specimens that would be reintroduced to the planet after the destruction of all life. When questioned by Helen about it, Klaatu revealed that he actually arrived on Earth to protect it from the destruction caused by human beings themselves, thus why he wanted to eradicate them. Meanwhile, a robot that arrived with Klaatu, given the name of Genetically Organized Robotic Technology, or GORT, soon transformed into a swarm of winged insects, capable of replicating itself and consuming any man-made object that it came across. While Klaatu escaped being arrested by the military with Jacob, he learned more about human beings, which, adding to his observations, made him decide to save humanity and give them another chance to protect their planet. Klaatu ended up sacrificing himself to turn off the swarm, leading to his spaceship leaving the planet, but leaving all electronics shut down on Earth. Marvelous verdict. From skilled assassins to martial arts experts, an expert occultist to an extraterrestrial being, Keanu Reeves has played a range of characters throughout his career. With every role he has taken up, Keanu Reeves has always managed to make the character his own. May it be blonde-haired, trenchcoat-wearing John Constantine, or the black suit-wearing, hell-bent on revenge, John Wick. His versatile take on these iconic roles is the very reason why Keanu Reeves' career is still going strong. And with no signs of stopping even after 40 years, it will be a pleasure to see what more iconic roles he has to offer. Do you think we missed out on any other powerful Keanu Reeves characters? Which one's been your favorite out of this list? Don't forget to let us know in the comments down below. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.